Hi everybody, this is Black Rhino Ranger. I hope you've enjoyed my Multimaginite animation. It was something I wanted to do for a long time, and I managed to do it right now. It's available on YouTube, and it comes with 3 different endings. And there's also one available on Newgrounds and Deviantart. It uses the SWF format, which unfortunately is going to be completely obliterated in the end of 2020. Newgrounds has a solution for that. You have to download the Newgrounds Flash player in order to be okay with playing SWF files. But on DeviantArt, it's perhaps gonna be obsolete, and by the time. And I heard that on May 20th, the Flash category is going to be completely removed. Which means I won't be able to submit any more Flash animations on DeviantArt. So, but before the version I have made right now, I actually made a different version of that story a long time ago, and it was back in, I think it was in 2018 or 2017. And this version of the Multimaginite was a bit more story-based. It had multiple endings, but there was only about 2 of them, and it was more Sensei focused. I mean, the characters I chose for this are Spyro, Gilgron, Trigger Happy, Eruptor, Pop Fizz, Jetpack, Stealth Elf, Cinder, and Terrafin. And there were the Sensei, the Trap Masters involved would be Snapshot, Gear Shift, Crypt King, Wildfire, Blastermind, Tough Love, Gusto, and Wallop. And while the Senseis would be Kingpin, Chopscotch, Mystic Cat, Robo, Flarewolf, Wildstorm, Boom Boom, Starcast, Aurora, and Barbella. And like I said, it comes with only 2 endings as opposed to 3. So this is what the story was originally supposed to be. And by the way, just in case you didn't see Trigger Happy's ending, this is what the character Extramona was gonna. This is my design for Extramona. That's how you pronounce her name, Extramona. It sounds like Desdemona. I don't know where it's from. I think it was from Shakespeare, but that's where I got the name of Desdemona, of Extramona. As you can see, she has a light helmet, a magic body, air wings, fire arm, life arm, tech arm, undead arm, water feet, and earth feet, and a dark tail. It was originally supposed to be fluffy, but then I decided to make it a devilish tail. So anyways, how it begins. Spyro and the gang, they started digging, singing the classic song, "We dig, 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 and mine the whole day through. We dig, 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 that's what we like to do." And then Trigger Happy's pit got stuck, and he tries to pull it off really hard. This got him to fling off, and he landed on a cart, and then there was a spiral a railway down, and then it stops and flings Trigger Happy into a wall that says "Do not enter." Here it's So then Trigger Happy wakes up, and then he sees, "Eureka! I hit a gold mine." Well, not really. This is the biggest crystal I've ever seen. Well, it's big. It is big, but why is it multicolored? Says Spyro. I believe it is worth $1 bajillion. Or maybe we can use it to create a very powerful ally, says Terrafin. Wait, let the Senseis analyze it first. So they bring it to the Senseis, and they're like, "Well, what should we do with it?" says Eruptor. And then they start arguing. It's like, "I thought we buried this thing somewhere where no one could find it." Well, apparently they found it. We should have tossed it in a never-ending vortex.
We should have smashed it or bashed it or crashed it.
Maybe just lock it in the vault. Well, they don't seem happy about what we presented to them.
I guess it couldn't hurt to just...
And then this yoink. I guess it's a no then. I think it's time we told you a story of what happened to us. Now this one was supposed to be explaining the origins of the Senseis. I mean, we all know what happened with the core Skylanders from Spyro's Adventure. They were banished to Earth because of an explosion from chaos. And I presume it was about 2 or 3 years before 2011 when the game was released. And as for the Giants, they were banished to Earth about 10,000 years, so about during the last ice age, when the mammoths were about to become extinct. And the Swap Force, it was about 100 years before 2013 when the game came out. So it was about 1913, a year after the Titanic sank and a year before World War One. I was thinking maybe around that time a man by the name of Winsor McKay was working on Gertie the Dinosaur, which came out a year later. And as for the Trap Masters, I'm thinking it was just many months before the events of Trap Team. And as for the SuperChargers, they got recruited as soon as they were new comrades. They got recruited as soon as as soon as the events of SuperChargers came in. As for the Senseis, I think they were supposed to be older Skylanders before the core Skylanders. So I'm kind of wondering where were they during the events of Spyro's Adventure and the others. I was thinking, well, here's the story. When we were Skylanders before you, we loved digging for new recruits. This is a flashback, by the way. We then discovered an unusual crystal with 10 colors. We know that each different colored crystal represents an element for an Imaginator. So we were curious about this crystal's element. So we could not believe our eyes. Not only did she have all 10 elemental powers, but she was also huge. We called her Extramona. We took her to her first lesson, greeting the citizens of Skylands. You see there's a Mabu there? Suddenly something happened. She destroyed a Mabu's house. Minutes later, one huge town was destroyed. In the end, we had no choice. We called the Trap Masters to trap her in the strongest Traptanium. Unfortunately, she was too big to fit through the Clockcracker Prison. So we moved her to the moon of Skylands. That's when we were absent for many years in Skyland. This is Mr. Cat speaking. So that's when we were absent for many years in Skylands until Chaos discovered the power of imagination. So that's what I imagine what happened with the Sin. Well, where were the Skylanders during the events of all things? Like I said before, the Spyro's Adventure Skylanders were banished to Earth about 2 or 3 years. The Giants were banished to Earth about 10,000 years. The Swap Force were banished 1913. The Trap Masters, they were perhaps guarding the Doom Raiders until they were banished to Earth many months before the events of Trap Team. SuperChargers, they were newly recruited. And as for the Senseis, this is where I imagine they would be, the Skylands moon. A few of us stayed behind to guard the prison cell of Extremona.
So wait, it's not just 18 of you?
No.
Well, can we at least see this prison cell?
Says Trig. Well, she is trapped in Traptinium, and it's protected by a force field, so I don't see why not. However, it's not the prisoner or the prison I'm worried about. So they all travel to the moon. We are here. And then here's this new character I came up with. His name is Oceanian, and he's an animal called just a minute, fellas. Let me just look up the animal. He is an opabenia. An opabenia. An opabenia is a Cambrian animal about over 500 million years ago. It's an arthropod that has a big long snout with claws at the end. Look it up. It's spelled Opabania. And Kingpin goes, Oceanian, good to see you again. And then Oceanian punches him. I guess all these years of therapy haven't taken effect on you. He's like, and who, pray tell, are these twerps? And it's like,
these are the Skylanders trained by Master Eon when we were still on the moon. They are here to see the prison cell of Extremona.
Absolutely not. This is a restricted area.
Oh, please?
Fine. They can see it, but no touching. Interrupter says, Say, how are you speaking without moving your lips? That's not my mouth. That's my hand. Well, like I said before, that the thing on that's his snout with that's his nose with the claws. That's not his teeth. He has a jawless mouth. And I thought, and so every time he speaks, it's like he doesn't move at all. Well, here she is. And this is the prison cell for Extremona. And this is what they say.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Gorgeous!
Kind of scary.
Why is he so glum and moody? Well, before we became Senseis, we were once best friends.
So this is the flashback to Oceanian and Kingpin training with Master Eon. It's like Kingpin and Oceanian were Master Eon's top students. Oceanian was trained harder than any of us were. However, we were ordered to guard the prisoner for the rest of our lives. MESOS, Master Eon's and Save Our Souls. It's like, that all changed several years later when Master Eon ordered us to come back to Skylands. But knowing that Oceanian scored higher than the rest of us, he ordered him to stay behind to continue guarding the prison. Oceanian wasn't exactly happy with Master Eon's decision. Feeling guilty, we hired 2 recruits for him to teach and be occupied. This is when I created 2 other characters named Raycell and Worthwhile Web. But even with these 2, it wasn't enough. And that's how we became Senseis. But sadly, he didn't. I'll talk a bit more about behind the scenes after I finish this. So why not destroy the crystal in her instead? Well, we tried that, but we figured that creation crystals are harder than Traptanium. Couldn't you just turn off the crystal? Well, we tried, but it was too strong for us to deactivate. Maybe we can use that extra Multimaginite crystal to create a companion for her? Out of the question, we're not taking that risk.
So, how secure is this cell? Pretty good, as long as something stupid doesn't happen. I'm thirsty, ma'am. Is there anything we can drink here? Sure, Trigger Happy. Water or soda? Soda. Here you go. Thanks, Racel. And then Trigger Happy starts drinking. But what if it was a misunderstanding and she never meant to hurt anyone? Maybe she just doesn't want to hug. Maybe she wants to hug a rabbit or something that looks like one. And then Trigger Happy spits out. You're not referring to me, are you? What are you looking at? Uh-oh. Trigger Happy accidentally fizzed out the controls. I thought we agreed not to leave any leaf substances on this space station. But how can you refuel yourself as you require H2O? Good point. For those who don't know, an Opabinia is an underwater creature. That's why he has the H2O thing, and he needs to breathe water. Shields are dropping rapidly, says Worthwhile Web, and now it's completely offline. She wakes up, she cracks, and she breaks free. Quick, man your station before she disappears. She teleports. Is it teleportation or invisibility? Whatever it is, it's definitely bad news. Speaking of bad news, my head is buzzing like crazy. It's coming from Skylands. Team, we need your help. Something wicked this way comes, says Tri-Tip on the hollow screen. She's there. I can smell it. Get your teleportation pads or ships. Back in Skylands, there's Extremona. Oceanian teleports, while the others, they just use the ship and they crash. Say, sorry, the teleporter only has room for one. Well, at least we came as fast as we could. Hyperspeeds make me barf. Senseis with ranged weapons do your damage. And this scene you might find familiar. I actually been taking notes from this part for making the Double Dragon Decade fight scene. The part where the Trap Masters use their weapons against Malefor, but they don't seem to affect. The ranged weapons, they don't seem to work. Dang, not to scratch. Let's take her out hand to hand. So they started using their close weapons. Okay, we exhausted our powers. You're on your own with this. Hey, can't you just trap her with crystals again? We're out of big ones and they ain't cheap. And because Traptanium cannot penetrate creation crystals, I guess I ain't gonna bother using my weapons on her. Speaking of which, she's a pawn and looking at you, Trig. And then she grabs onto Trig, and then she says, So you want a piece of me? Come and get it. Trigger Happy's just eager to fight him. And she says, You're cute. What? I will hug you and I will pet you, feed you, and call you George. Guess what that's a reference to? My name is not George, it is Trigger Happy. She must be looking for companionship, says Spyro. If Traptanian can't destroy creation crystals, maybe another creation crystal can. Trig, me and keep Extremona occupied. Me and Oceanian will be right back. No way am I. Am I being her teddy bear? Trust me, we have a plan. Well, hurry. I heard after the kissing things are gonna get really deep. Smooch. In Skylanders HQ, there's the Multimaginite, the one the others dug up earlier. It's like, now to use the crystal and destroy the prisoner once and for all. Wait, I thought I would use it to create a companion for her. She's too dangerous to live. She has to go. But think about this. Is it better to solve things with violence or companionship? She might be misunderstood. Oh man, I'm not used to difficult decisions.
To be continued, which ending do you choose? Do you choose Spyro's ending or Oceanian's ending? And that's the next book. And this is where we come in. This one comes in. The Multimaginite endings, choose your ending. There's Mextramona with a thing. Choose your ending. It's either Oceanian's ending or Spyro's ending. And the first bit of it. Now, if you choose Oceanian's ending, this is what it's going to be like.
And I was like, that's no golden statue. That's my future wife.
You say, okay, this is getting annoying. And then,
she's stealing my soul.
And then she starts stealing all the other Skylander souls.
I absorb their power. Now to stop right there,
says Chaos.
If anyone's gonna take over Skylands, it's gonna be me. After all, I'm the most powerful being in Skylands. I control everything and everyone. I can even...
And then his soul got sucked up.
You talk too much. Well, I'm done with this planet. Time to blow it up to smithereens.
Hey, Extramona, I got something for you.
Another Multimaginite? Just like I once was?
You want it? I bring it to you.
That's okay, I'll get it myself.
Oh, but I insist. So he uses his nozzle to his claw, his nose to jetpack himself right up to dodge her attacks, and he rockets himself, and then he's about to strike, and then it lands on her head. The crystal lands on her head. She screams in pain, and then kaboom! My powers are returning. I feel strong again.
Oceanian did it. He saved us and all of Skylands.
But then what's the remain of the debris? All that's left is a broken nozzle. But alas, the sacrifice was imminent. They turn around and they walk away, and then it starts raining.
Do you think we should worry about any more signs of the fusion crystals?
I hope that was the last one. And then the nozzle gets buried, and then 5 extra crystals appear, and they're all fusions. One of them is a fire water, magic tech, air earth, light dark, and undead life. The end? I'll talk more about this later. If you choose Spyro's ending,
say, turns out she just needs companionship.
Then why did you destroy an entire Mabu village?
It was an accident. Something appeared in front of my face.
Flashback.
It was like a green alien with tall eyes. I tried to squish it, but it dodged. I was so busy trying to find that little pest that I accidentally ruined the city. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I really hate Chompies.
That's all bad. I remember the Chompy mage attacking that village, and when we arrested him, we took out the Chompies, but we missed one.
I kinda deserve my punishment too. I nearly harmed someone in that city. But am I really... But all I really wanted was a friend.
Hey, Extramona, you got a second? Sorry about that, I'm supposed to be to Spyro. If it's a friend you want, it's a friend you'll get. I give you Animal Around. It's a guy made from the crystal.
Thanks, but I was hoping for him to be a chameleon.
No problem. Tell him to turn into one.
Okay, turn into a chameleon.
Then Animal Around transforms into a chameleon. You can command him to command him to do anything, even transform into any animal you want.
He's perfect. But where will we stay? We are too big for this world.
I guess it's back to my moon prison. Not exactly. Oceanian has something to say. I decided to turn the moon prison into a moon training facility. And you, Extramona, will no longer be my prisoner, but my student. With a little help from my friends. And as your master, let's say we start training on the moon right now.
As you wish, master.
They both teleport back to the moon. Once again, friendship saves the day.
I sure hope we don't encounter any more of those fusion crystals for a long time.
Then on the moon, first day of lesson is to have fun. Then she plays frisbee with that animal around. Fetch! Animal around runs to it, transforms into a shark, but then hits a gigantic rock. You okay, boy? Then something was shining. It's like, what's that? Master of Oceanians, come and see this. By the portal masters. And then it shows a huge cave with, of course, the fire, water, life, undead, magic tech, air, earth, and light, dark crystals. The end. Now the crystals were supposed to be they were supposed to foreshadow something like this. Here's what I meant. These are the characters I was supposed to create for the thing, but I never really got around to that part, so I ended up just posting them on Patreon for anybody to adopt. You got $5, you can adopt them. Now this guy's named Sandstork. He's supposed to be the air earth. He's supposed to create a tornado, a sandstorm. And this one is Hedgerot. He's part okay, Sandstork is part thorny devil and part stork. Hedgerot is part skeletal deer and part hedge. And he's supposed to summon undead poisonous plants or something. This one's my favorite. His name is Boil Burst. He's part fire salamander and part pistol shrimp. He can shoot boiling hot water. And finally, Pixie Thrust. Pixie Thrust is part fairy and part robot. I haven't thought of a light dark character yet. I was thinking maybe it's either two-headed or something like Two-Face from Batman. And here's another bit of behind the scenes. Extramona and Oceanian, they were inspired by Rampage and Depth Charge from Beast Wars. And Depth Charge, Oceanian was all moody and not happy that he didn't get the job thing, just like Depth Charge. He was not happy that Depth Charge wasn't happy about the Maximals dumping Rampage's body someplace else so he won't harm anybody. He wanted to kill Rampage because the family, his colony in Onacron, they were killed by Rampage, and Rampage was created from Starscream's immortal spark during experimentation. It was not a good move. You have to see that Beast Wars episode, Bad Spark and Deep Metal, in order to get it. So anyway, sorry that this version of Multimaginite couldn't make it. It was something I was quite passionate for, but the one I made I thought was pretty fine as well. Sorry that this couldn't be made, but what can you do? Sometimes a delay can cause some things to backfire and you're unable to make it in time. Next time I'll be discussing about this. You guys, I might discuss about this. I might write a script about this, but this might never be made because of the Flash thing, and some people want to move on and stuff. And thought this one might come somewhere. Next video. Hope you've enjoyed this one.